Simmons. I'm President and CEO of the Chester County Community Foundation. Welcome to our annual Board Institute at a new bat time in a new bat place. I am pleased to introduce you to our host for the most and the chair of our board. This is Dr. Zebulun Davenport.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone, and we are certainly glad that you all have chosen to spend this evening here at this is Westchester University Foundation, but it is for the Community Foundation. And we're certainly glad you're here. Your presence indicates that you all care as much about the community as we do. And many of you know that our mission is connecting people who care with causes that matter. That is the Westchester Community Foundation's mission, but you can adopt it for this evening. Don't take it and write it down for your mission, but know, you could, yeah. But know that we know that you all believe the same. And so we just thank you for being here and spending some time with us. And our hope is that you walk away not only feeling enriched, but as you participate, communicate, and work with others, that we all leave better than what we came. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir. Now, hold on. I know how much people like to talk, so give me just a couple minutes to tell you a bit about the Community Foundation, and then Zeb is going to lead you through a good discussion before we get to our plenary session with Robbe Healey. So, how many of you have been to one of our board institutes in the past? If you have, I'm going to say 65%. What do you think, Zeb? Sounds right? Thank you. So basically, we wanted to change up the date and the time and the place to make it a little easier, and I think we have, because it's a great turnout tonight as well. And we're going to stay all in this room. Our housekeeping is easy. Eat, drink, and take your own breaks whenever you need them, all right? Because there's no formal breaks throughout the evening. And thank you for hosting us in this beautiful space, too, as well. So at the Community Foundation, Zeb told you our mission, connecting people who care with causes that matter, so your legacies make a difference now and forever. There's almost 1,000 community foundations in the world, so over 900 in the US. And we were founded in 1994 by some Dynasts families. You can see their photos up there. And now we have 15 board members and a good group of staff and volunteers. We're a collection of about over 400 funds under one umbrella. And a lot of those are donor-advised family funds, and a good portion are nonprofit endowment funds. And right now we hold about $136 million in entrusted funds under our umbrella. And from that, we grant out money annually, about $6 to $7 million a year at this point, which is pretty good, and more to come. And I wanted to talk to you about the foundation so that you as board members know what services you could take advantage of. Part of it is we really like to convene and understand community issues and be a repository for what's going on, especially in these important times. So understanding the civic and this charitable landscape is huge. And for the families whose funds we hold in trust, we're the ones who come and do site visits at your nonprofits and take a look at your 990s and your Guide Star reports and do some due diligence, and then help the families make grants. And we also have grant panels that people serve on. And so that's some of the material that Robbe actually will be covering tonight, is what do funders look for when they're looking to decide whether to fund your nonprofits. And we also have other partners here who help us do this as well. And of course, for the nonprofits whose endowment funds we hold in trust, how many of you know if you have an endowment fund with the Community Foundation? I'm going to say probably about 10, 15%. Yeah. So with the endowment funds that we hold in trust, we really try to build the capacity of nonprofits and strengthen what you do so that you can do it even better, and so that people will want to give you more money. So that's this capacity building. This is an example of that. Plus we do grant making for capacity building. Plus we help you when you do have a nonprofit endowment fund with us to make it grow through major gifts. But we're all about that long-term legacy giving, so there's money to grant out to nonprofit charities in good and bad economic times. And if nothing else, these last several months have proven the virtue, I guess, or the bravery of endowment funds, because our fund advisors have money and they're granting it out. And these are tough times, and we're granting it out in even bigger amounts. So this is a good thing. We can't make up for everything that's going on, but we have some strength. So that's our overall program. We help to manage your endowment fund if you have a fund with a foundation, and we also help it to grow. And those pages are in your handout. If you like or don't like what you see here tonight, either way, we invite you to join in and zoom in to our nonprofit board member roundtables and training workshops. They're free, and they happen on Mondays, usually at noon, once a month. The schedule's here, plus there's a QR code, it's online. Just zoom in. And a lot of the facilitators and trainers who are going to be helping with the roundtables tonight are going to be helping to facilitate that as well. So zoom in. Anyone who serves on a nonprofit board or wants to is welcome to zoom in. And we also have our annual meeting coming up in another month at the ever fabulous Uptown Theater. Rah, they're at that table. And we'll fill up that theater with all kinds of legacy stories, and you can find out what's happening overall for the foundation and for people, connecting people who care with causes that matter forever. So that's what we do at the Community Foundation. Another group that is here tonight, where is Chris Cielo, United Way? Yes, the Chester County Leadership Connection. Oh, and Zeb Davenport, who's not leaving the room, don't worry. The Leadership Connection also has an annual training series for nonprofit boards and people who want to serve on the boards. Chris, do you want to say one word about it? One.
Sold out for the year. It's a great program, and I look into it. We get a lot of people that are already on boards that will participate, and it really it's an immersive experience. 9 months, 1 full day a month, and you work with a nonprofit on a real problem during that year. This past year, I saw Joyce here. They worked with Friends Association, and happy to tell you more about it if you want to know. And there are some flyers out on that table.
Flyers on the table, QR code here, great program, full year. How many of you have been through the Leadership Connection course already? That's the other thing. We're a great sort of follow-up for that, so great program. I went through the one in 1986 in Philadelphia, so I'm a Leadership Philly alum. I'm not that old, right? And then I went through that when I was at LaSalle's Nonprofit Center, which also offers board of development training and consulting. So those are some other resources. Now, Zeb, I saw you sit down. Come on, a working board. So before we jump into Robbe Healey's incredible information that she's going to impart, we have a bit of time to talk. Zeb, shall I hand you?
Sure. Now, my father told me a long time ago, he said, son, you only get out of something what you put into it. So, my father was a minister, and I would go to church, and I'd be like, it was so boring. And he said, what'd you do? And I said, well, I slept. He said, that's why it was boring. No, I'm just kidding. He was a minister, and he did say that. I didn't sleep. My mother would say, wake up. No. But for the beginning of our Institute tonight, we're going to ask you to participate, and this is the way we're going to do it. At your tables, we want you to engage in some conversations. We have a first question that says, before I say that, I need to introduce 2 important people, all right? Everybody remember the Phil Donahue show? Yeah, I said that to a group of students, and they were like, who? So I wanted to be able to say that. We have 2 amazing students from Westchester University. They're going to help us facilitate this discussion by bringing the microphones to you, because we're going to ask you to participate. Your first question is, why do you serve as a board member? Why do you serve as a board member? You see the prompt up there. It takes energy, time, and plus you take on fiduciary responsibility, right? And we all work. Many of us have families. Many of us have lives outside of our jobs, and we do this work. Folks, yeah, you're right. Oh, you're laughing at the old person with the cane. I don't know. You know what? Don't worry about it. We're not saying anybody in here is old. We're all young at heart. But what I'd like for you to do is take 2 minutes, do some introspective thinking. We have introverts and extroverts. So just take some time to think about why you serve. When you hear me say ready, go, I'd like for you all to talk in your tables for a few seconds about why you serve. And then we will come around and ask you to share what you discussed in your tables. It's called quick response. Are you ready to say yes? Are you really ready to say yes? On the count of 3, give yourselves 1 clap. 1, 2, 3. Now, do your introspective work. You hear me say talk, and then you talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. All right, folks, here we go. I need your attention right here. All right, we're going to come around to your tables, just get a few answers. So tell me what you all discussed. Give us a little synopsis.
I guess I've got voted in as a speaker. So it was a really interesting conversation here. So a lot of us feel that serving on a board is not only giving back to your immediate community, which this is very much about immediate community, but it's using our skills, keeping ourselves active, but also using the skills maybe we learned through our profession to give back to the organization and to feel like we're connected to the community that we're helping serve.
Thank you. All right, that table right there just volunteered. Anybody at that table want to say? Oh, they're pointing to people. He was voluntold.
A couple of things were apparent. For certain people that are born and raised in this community or other communities like this community, it really surfaces from, it's in your DNA, is the way I explained it, especially to my favorite person sitting next to me. It was really apparent from meeting her and meeting other people like yourselves and people on different boards that I've been on, that the reason you're there is because it's our responsibility as the people that have to help those that don't have. It's in my mind and in our collective thought process, it's really not that complicated. It's just a given natural responsibility that good people are supposed to do.
Thank you very much. That's a great answer. We're going to have 2 more groups, the group over here and a group on this area up here. Yes. Right here.
With the general line, instead of the wife to the greater greater one. My biggest thing was that I wanted to show my kids that someone that looked like me, belonged at the table. And a big thing that happened amongst our table was that we're all connected to the wine in some way. Sometimes it happened organic. Sometimes it was because we worked there, and then it just happens. But then you find that you're connected, and it's the wind in the sail that sometimes you needed, or you never knew that that sail was being blown in that direction. And next thing you know, here you are on board or for an organization. So that was us.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Short. I have newly joined the board of the barn at Springbrook Farm, and I'm at a lovely table this evening. I would say there's a lot of common threads that we've discussed in terms of wanting to give back, wanting to share our talents, but I also think for us there seems to be a great degree of interpersonal connectedness to the missions for which we're trying to serve, and really wanting to give back to continue those programs for the next generations to come. And trying to elevate these missions and grow them and reach as many people as possible.
All right, thank you all for participating in the first question. Now, what we're going to do is combine the next 2 questions, all right? What are the biggest issues you face as board members? And then when you think about your board now and or in the future, what are your most desired? Now, what I'd like for you to do is just take a moment and do your own thinking, jot a few things down, and then talk amongst your group, all right? Thank you. All right, it sounds like everybody's kind of gotten through their question. This is the part, this is the part where we really need your feedback. I know we some folks kind of shy, but again, you only get out what you put in. And so this is going to jumpstart us. So when you stand, if you would state your name and the organization with which you represent, and really just a couple of issues that you all face as board members. And we want to try to get to as many people as possible, so you don't have, if you discuss 20, you don't have to give us 20, all right? And if a group comes before you and they discuss the same thing that you discussed, then you can say ditto to what they said and add to it, okay? Because if not, we already have a volunteer. We have a voluntold right here. All right, your name and the organization that you represent. Could you stand and do that? They're pointing to you. Everybody at the table's like, pick our table and ask her.
I don't know if I should speak to this question. I'm a founder and executive director with my wonderful esteemed board members here. So I'm not sure if you want my perspective
Sure,
here.
I want your perspective. Yeah, it's why they were busy. Pick us, her.
Yeah, I'm like, why are they pointing to me? I'm like, but I would say, as a very small, hyper-local organization, one of the big issues we face is, with a smaller board, sometimes I feel like we're putting a lot of weight on a small amount of people when the work is great. So because we're so small and I'm the only paid staff person, our board members are roll up your sleeves, like really amazing people. And one of the biggest fears I have is burning them out.
Yeah.
Because when we have a lot of work and not a lot of space to spread it out. Or even when our board was bigger, a lot of the work maybe fell on a few. So we want to make sure that the work is spread evenly to keep people passionate about the mission and not feeling like they want to run away from it.
Thank you. When you said that, there was a lot of head nods in the room. Let's give her a round of applause. That's great. Anybody, right there. Your name and the board that you represent, and biggest issue and what you most desire.
Good evening, Katie Angstadt with the YMCA of Greater Brandywine. I'm on the association board. I actually just told my table I'm not going to say what we talked about. I'm going to say something completely different, only because what was just shared, I think having the challenge of a smaller board, I actually think you can flip it and have a challenge with having too large a board and not getting the engagement because your board is so large that you can, people may not engage as much. And so for me, what I wrote down was being able to add enough value, right? And so it's kind of a little bit of a other side of the coin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's next? We got somebody right there. Microphone's coming. Name, organization, and summarize what you discussed.
Jolene Borghese, I'm with Chester County Lifelong Learning. We used to be Chester County Night School. And we had a wonderful member at our table talk about her organization. And one of the things that, and this brings me to the first question too, is this idea of legacy. Our organization was started by 4 couples in Westchester over their kitchen table 70 years ago. And every day I feel that weight on my shoulders that if we go under, I'm disappointing those families. And so that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. And we too have a small board. I'm so worried because there's just a few of us that do the work. And, I feel like I'm burning them out. So I have to, seek for new board members, which is not easy. And this is what some of the members at the table said, that it's hard to get people to be part of our board. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, I'm Megan Sutherland. I am on the board of the Colonial Theater in Phoenixville. And one of my biggest issues is running a tight financial ship without deprioritizing our staff. So learning how to take care of our staff in addition to taking care of our mission.
That's so important. I think being mindful not only of your board, but the folks who work with you every single day is a very important issue. Anybody want to say what you most desire? Anybody say what you most desire that you discussed at your tables? Any hands? Should we? Oh, yes. All right.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Laurie Waddy. I sit on the board at Uptown, Canower Performing Arts, full name. What would I say I most desire? So I've sat on the board for about 2 years. And for those of you who don't know Uptown that well, it's a relatively young organization. So I think we opened our doors, 9 years ago? 2016. There you go. Thank you very much, ma'am. And we went through the pandemic, as everyone did, right? So we're pretty young. And I am happy to report that in my 2 years being on the board, you see this constant evolution of improvement, moving in the right direction. But what I would really like to see is that we continue to become more fact-based, enable ourselves to be more data-driven in terms of what we're doing. So, of course, all toward our mission and whatnot. So I think a focus on governance, tightening up governance, and being more data-driven would be some things that I would desire.
What do you most desire? What'd you talk about? Anybody? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hello, I'm Dan Hoffman. I'm on the board of the Philadelphia Ethical Society, and Camp Linden is one of our programs. And what our board most desires is more bodies to help us. We have some really wonderful members who have been serving on our board, like Nick, who's heading the finance committee. And he's aging out, and we've been putting too much pressure on a handful of members to carry a lot of burden. And so what we desire most is more people to step up and help these members.
It seems like it's a general theme of burnout, right? The 80-20 rule, 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, right?
Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie McIntosh. I am the new, first board meeting will be next week, board chair of the Westchester Food Cupboard. And the thing when I look at the board of the future, what do I most desire as a new chair coming in is preserving the legacy of the amazing organization that already exists while helping them navigate the change that they need to face. The demand from the community, the need from the community is great, as you all know. And so we're putting in some new structures in place to meet that demand. But just such an amazing 100% volunteer-run organization, no paid staff at all. And I really want to make sure that we preserve that into the future. So, thank you.
I'm Marilyn Shields, and I'm the vice chair of the board for the Fund for Women and Girls. And I guess what we most desire, or one of the things that is very important to us as a board, is that we have a diverse membership and that we have a wealth of lived experience that is that it comes to the table so as to be able to make the best possible decisions in, creating the strategic direction for the fund.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Vilter from the Volunteer English Program. This has already been said, but to mention one specific thing about increasing the size of the board, we're looking not only for a larger board, but a more diverse board in terms of skills and demographic representation as well. Obviously, we serve immigrants from all over Chester County who open their own businesses, become citizens, and help their children to succeed. So we want our board to reflect that diversity.
Good evening. My name is Deneen Lear, and I am the board chair for Integrate for Good. It is a nonprofit that supports people, students, and young adults with disability. And, thanks to, I have to give a shout out to RSVP Group, who have helped us to lay down a strong strategic plan, both short and long term. But in addition to bodies and help, we'd like to, or I desire to, be able to have more knowledge of how to tap into wealth, endowments, as you mentioned earlier, and those things that, in addition to, you were asked earlier, what is your plan for if you got hit by a bus? That wasn't good. But what is your succession plan? Let's keep it professional, right? What is your succession plan? But we work so hard to, build our finances, worrying about our, financial statements, et cetera. It would be nice to know that we do have something that is in the future, again, talking about wealth, investments, and and those things that we don't know a lot about.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause. All right.
Hi, my name is Begum Abad. I'm actually not a nonprofit, even though we have been running in the last 11 years as a nonprofit. I actually want to learn, and if anybody can help me today, but we actually have a lot of people that want to volunteer in our organization. It is River Goddesses. It's a women empowerment sports organization. we've been running through the platform of dragon boating, but we do have already an education program. We have a mentorship program. We work with Peru with a collaboration with another nonprofit in Colorado. And people are very, very excited about the mission itself. We want to escalate to becoming a nonprofit, so hopefully grow. But I certainly am here to learn from all of you how to put together a good board membership. I'm the founder, I'm the executive director, but as I said, I'm here to learn. So if anybody can approach me and kind of give some guidance, I'm really welcome for that. Thank you.
And I just cheated 2 people from the same table. So, so Michael Carwick, volunteer with the Chester County Estate Planning Council. I'm chairing that board this year, and a volunteer with the Chester County Community Foundation. And at the root of what I heard here a lot are 2 things. I'd like to be able to be heard in a crowded marketplace, whether it's online, in person, and be heard. It's by donors, it's by the community, it's by board members. We were talking about board members. We want the good board members. You know, how do we stand out and be heard out there? And I think what that takes, and I'm so glad we have so many people here today, because the second thing I want is to make sure we're all working to make the pie bigger, right? The nonprofit pie, the community-oriented pie, the philanthropic pie. Remember, it's not a fixed pie. If I get a good board member, it doesn't mean you can't have a board member now. We just have to find more board members out there. But really, you know, you're either a fixed pie thinker or an expanding pie thinker. And if we can all think about growing philanthropy, community, all of these things together, the pie can be bigger of people that help each other. And I would love to see that as well.
So there are, you know, there's a lot of themes that seem to be common. And Michael, I appreciate your comment of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And so we have some wonderful presenters, facilitators this evening. I won't steal anybody's thunder, but it is, first, before I say anything else, let's give Austin and let's give Brooke a round of applause. Thank you both so much. I believe that if you remain present in this space and come with the mindset of wanting to grow, learn, and do, I think you'll walk away, again, better than you walked in. So thank you all so much for participating. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank our staff at the Community Foundation and our facilitators, and also, no, you.
And thank you, Zeb Davenport, PhD, EDD, sorry, doctor, for facilitating some conversation to get us rolling. So I appreciate that very much so. Thank you.